Hi everyone, I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. I am a soul therapist and an intuitive that connects with the angelic energy, and I help the helpers, the healers, and the light bringers of this world to live their most magical life. So if you're watching the replay on my YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button below with the bell so you can get notifications for all the videos that I'm sharing here in this channel. I am in the process of rolling out my monthly tarot scopes. I should have, I'm a little behind in getting them uploaded and things, but I should have them up soon. So keep an eye out, get yourself subscribed so you get notifications for when those come out. And if you're watching this live or on the replay on my Facebook, make sure you get yourself subscribed to the YouTube because I don't always share the tarot scopes over here on Facebook. So hi Rob, nice to see you here. So we're gonna dive into this week's energy. This video is about the weekly collective energy. I am a day late. Thank you guys for your patience. I'm just trying to flow with everything. Things got a little bit busy yesterday with my kids having their first day of school and all the things and getting settled back into a routine. And that's a little bit connected with the energy this week. We'll talk about that. But thank you for your patience. I am here now setting the intention that this is, that we're reading the energies for, sometime over the next week or so. I think sometimes like the energies like cross over each other or continue on into other weeks and things like that as well. So anyway, before we dive into that, I do want to make sure that I highlight my membership site for those of you who aren't familiar with it or who haven't signed up yet. I love what we are creating over there. It is a monthly membership site. It's $9.99 a month. You get classes, you get energy sessions, you get monthly readings, and whatever other content I'm feeling called to share on there. But I love the feedback that I'm getting from people because so many people have said there's a lot more on there than I expected for there to be. So I'm loving that. And what's awesome about it is it's like this ever-growing resource of classes and information. And I have some fun things coming up. I have my group sesh that's going to be coming up next Friday, and that is a live group session, group discussion to answer your questions. And even if you're not able to join the live, you're able to send me your questions and I can try to address those during the group session as well, because then you can watch the replay on the membership. The following week, I have coming up the, what did I call it? Energy and relationships class, and I'm really excited about that one. I'm actually going to teach that live, but the replay will be available on the membership, and that's exciting because it's something I get asked about all the time is, why do I feel so connected to this relationship? Or why am I having such a hard time letting go? Or just, people don't have always the awareness of how we interact with other energies and how they impact us. So we're going to be talking about connection and relationships and energy and basically the role that energy plays within the relationships that we have in our lives, because it's a huge component and it's a component that not a lot of people acknowledge or are aware of. So definitely, Rob is saying you need help in relationships. Definitely that might be a good class for you, Rob, to check out. That's going to be over on the membership. So you want to get yourself set up at claritybychristy.com. You can go there, you can check it all out before you decide if you want to get yourself signed up, and you can cancel anytime too. So anyway, I have all that going on, but I do want to dive into the weekly energy that we have going on. So we're in Virgo season now, and I feel it. I don't know about you guys. I feel the shift because for me, Virgo season is much more like structured. It's really a time where basically we get our shit together, right? So I feel that for me, and I feel that for so many of us, that this is a time where there's a focus on us coming back into our balance, right? Where maybe we look at and we're assessing in our lives where things are out of balance or where things have maybe gone too far out of balance. Because sometimes, we just have habits or we get caught up in things, and before we know it, we are putting way too much energy into something, or something is taking way too much of our time, or we have developed habits that we know aren't helpful to us, and we have a sense that maybe we need to be reallocating our time and our energy into better things. And I know for me, that's been going on. And so I felt this real need to reincorporate some structure back into my life. I like structure. I find like comfort in structure. So for me, this works really well. But even for somebody who doesn't, I think it's like asking yourself that question, like, where is it that I need to create balance in my life? What's feeling out of balance, and what do I need to do about it? What, am I spending too much time resting, reflecting, not taking action? Am I spending too much time putting effort and energy into something that just isn't working out, isn't serving me? Am I putting, or am I, too focused on my work? Am I too focused on relationships and not focusing enough on other things that I'm feeling called to do? So this is a really good time to just take a look at all of those areas in your life. What habits need to be adjusted? What areas of your life need to be adjusted? Take a look at that. And I think that you're being shown. I think that we are being guided as to what's out of balance, and it'll feel uncomfortable. It'll feel like, oh, okay, so this is I probably shouldn't be doing this anymore, or in this way, or putting this much time and energy into this. So I feel like it's just going to click for us and become really clear. I also do think that there's kind of an energy right now around, I'm just feeling a lot of stuff around relationships. So this might be, this is any kind of connections. This can be romantic relationships. This can be friendships, family relationships, just any connections that we have in our life. And I do think that right now there may be a lot of emotions around that we might be feeling some things. We're getting ready to go into Mercury Retrograde again. So that'll be hitting September 27th, but we're now in that pre-shadow leading up to it. And I feel it, just kind of clicked in, I think today. And I feel that where it is starting to, we're starting to maybe look back on things and process things a little bit. We're starting to go through memories, go through old emotions. And there's a point to this, right? There's a healing that happens to this, but I also think it's important for us to ask ourselves, what is there for, if this is coming up for me, if I find myself thinking about this, what is there for me to learn about this? This isn't about dwelling on the past or staying stuck in the past. This is about learning the lesson, teasing the lesson out, and then letting ourselves move forward as best we can. Or, why is this stuff coming up for me? What is it trying to show me? Pay attention to what is coming up for you. And I think part of the question is, and this is such a Mercury retrograde thing, and this will be more and more highlighted as we actually step into retrograde, is there unfinished business? Sometimes after a period of time, after we have done some work on ourselves, after those people that we've been connected to have done some work on themselves, there is a need to maybe come back together to communicate in some way, or to work through some things. Or maybe it's not even about reconnection of any kind, but just like, where is there unfinished business within you, and what is sort of left over to be resolved? What needs to be worked through, whether that's with another person or on your own? But I see that all being stirred up. I think that this is going to be present for us. And I also think there is an energy. I just, when I was doing on my membership this September monthly reading, I just kept hearing that word renegotiation, right? And I think that's a powerful theme in a lot of ways throughout the month of September. But I feel like right now, and as we're moving a little bit further into September, it's an energy of renegotiation within relationships as well. So you may find, even with connections that you have in your life right now, or connections from the past that you're kind of interested in reconnecting with in some way, that this is a time for renegotiation, coming back to the drawing board and figuring out, okay, how are we going to move forward with this How do you want to move forward with this in a different way, in a better way? So it's maybe even learning the lessons from the past and using those within new connections or new situations in your life, or taking that and using that within the connections that you already have to improve your relationships, to improve the way that you are interacting within relationships. So a lot of focus around that. There's a focus on health and well-being right now, I feel like, too, but that to me has been just really what 2021 has been about, has been, how can I be my most well? How can I be my healthiest in mind, body, and spirit? Okay. So there is this focus. And again, I think the key right here, right now, is how can I live a more balanced life? What do I need to live a more balanced life that is going to contribute to the health and well-being of my mind, body, and spirit? So asking yourself those questions. The other thing is the message that came through was to trust that there is a rhyme and a reason to things, right? I think there's some frustration over some things not moving forward, some things that haven't manifested. And so for those of you that are finding yourself frustrated with it, and I'm seeing that a little bit in some of my September readings as well, there's a rhyme and a reason to things. So we need to trust, and we need to understand that it may not come immediately, but if we can just continue to have that trust and honor what our soul is guiding us, it all is going to work out for our highest and best good. So we need to make sure that we are doing that and asking ourselves, like, where do I need to flow rather than force? Again, there's that theme, right? That comes up a lot for us as a collective. Where do I need to flow rather than force? So where are you forcing things? And it might work out. Sometimes when we force things, it does work out in that immediate moment, but usually, ultimately, for the long term, it doesn't work out because you are forcing it. And when you're forcing it, that has a really different feeling than when you are flowing with something. So where are you forcing things in your life? Take a look, assess that situation, and how can I just instead take a step back and flow a little bit more? It might be in regard to relationships, right? Are you trying to force certain relationships in your life? Hi, CG, nice to see you on here. Where can I, am I forcing things within certain relationships in my life? And if I instead took a step back and just let myself sort of flow with what I feel guided to do, with what's showing up for me, would that maybe work out a little bit better? Because once we're forcing it, we are trying to control things. So it might not be in relationships. It might be in other areas of your life. It might be in the work that you're doing. Maybe you are just like pushing yourself and pushing yourself and pushing yourself, and you know that you are forcing it, or you're pushing yourself too far, to completely depleting yourself of your energy. But there's like that ego part of you that's like operating out of fear, that's really trying to like push it and push it and push it. That's not going to make it manifest more quickly. In fact, we want to find that really nice balance between taking inspired action, not forced action. These are two different things. And then allowing things to show up for us, allowing things to arrive into our experience. And when we are both taking inspired action and letting ourselves be receptive, that's a really nice balance to allow for things to manifest. So we're going to take a look at these cards as well that I pulled. So a lot of powerful manifestation power right here with this Magician, right? There is a message also, I feel like, of you being ready for something. So maybe you've been thinking about like, am I ready? Am I ready? This is saying stop overthinking it, or don't overthink it, and just do it. Just go for it. If your soul is calling for it, just go for it. But we also are in this new moon energy. So this is definitely a time to think about, what is it that I want in my life? What is it that I want to manifest in my life? And the new moon was the other day, but there's still a little bit of that energy, and you can manifest anytime anyway. But the new moon always supports manifestations and helping. It's a great time for us to set those intentions. So to think about what it is that you want in your life, what it is that you're calling into your experience. And this is really saying, create the vision, let yourself dream. Let yourself begin to take steps in the direction of your dreams, because this is going to help that to manifest. We also have the 8 of Cups in reverse. So this is in part why I feel like there may be some renegotiations, maybe some reconnections, is like there are maybe some things in your life that you thought that you at the time, and it was right at the time for you to walk away from it, for you to disconnect from it, to go off and explore something else. And now it's like there maybe are some things in your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's other things, other opportunities that are starting to call us back. And so you might feel that, you might hear that. I think that's going to really peak more during that Mercury retrograde as we move into October. But start to notice what's maybe tugging at you, what is starting to get your attention. And again, this isn't saying that walking away from that thing at the time wasn't right for you. Sometimes we just have to do that. But sometimes after circumstances have changed or people have done work on themselves or things like that, we can come back together and reconnect, and it's a different energy. So you may find that there's just like something calling at you to maybe reconnect with a little bit, or re-explore. It might just be a re-exploration. 3 of Swords. So I also see us processing a lot of our emotional difficulties or past relationship stuff or past heartache, things like that. Don't let yourself go too far into your head about this. Again, take the lessons from it, process the lessons, let yourself feel the emotions that are coming up. We don't want to stuff those down. We want to just allow them to flow through us and be aware of them. Sometimes when you just let the emotions flow through you, they don't have the same power as they would if you try to stuff them, if you try to ignore them, if you try to fight them. So let them come, let yourself feel what you feel, and then, refocus on other things that you need to do, or that are exciting to you, or that help you to feel good and light. So find that nice balance. There's that balance word again, right? But let yourself also feel your feelings and process these things as well. We also have the King of Cups. So I do feel like as a collective, we've been working on opening our hearts. And so you may find that you're just feeling more open-hearted, and that can feel kind of vulnerable, to be honest. That can feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm feeling so much more. I'm feeling so much more of the collective energy. I'm feeling so much more empathetic of other people. I'm feeling so much more open to connecting with people in a real and a deep way. And this is really beautiful. So be mindful of where you're trying to shut your heart back down, right? Where maybe you feel vulnerable and you try to shut that back down, or where you try to protect yourself. Be mindful of the ways that you're protecting your heart, and be mindful of all the work that you've done to open that heart, and stay focused on that. I keep talking about in my posts and in my videos about how we truly came here right now in this time, so many of us, to be warriors of love, to, that truly is the tool or the weapon against all of this divide, all of this stuff, this heavy energy that we have going on right now, is to be love and loving to other people. And that doesn't mean that everybody gets access to our heart, right? That's not what that King of Cups, that open-hearted energy is. There also needs to be boundaries so that we're honoring ourselves and that we're loving ourselves. But at the same time, if we can open up a little bit more, we can tap into that very heart-centered, loving energy, and think about even putting out loving energy out into the world. This is exactly what this world needs right now. And this is so, so important. So making sure that we're thinking about, how can I live in this world that has so much heaviness, but at the same time still do it with an open heart and still allow myself to get more and more comfortable with being vulnerable. Do something that makes you feel vulnerable this week. Say something that, pushes you out of your comfort zone. Express something that you've wanted to express. Communicate something that you've wanted to communicate to someone else. Be more open in a situation than you would have in the past. This is how we flex those heart muscles, right? And we allow ourselves to get more and more comfortable with vulnerability and living life with an open heart. It takes a little practice. It takes a little time. It takes consciously choosing to open your heart again and again and again, even when we've been hurt, because our response to that hurt and that pain is to close the heart. And that can feel protective, that can feel helpful, but it also makes you feel disconnected from people, from source, from everything. So it's so important that we have that be open. Then we have the 5 of Wands, okay? So maybe some conflict showing up for us. Again, I feel like there's a lesson in this. I feel like there is a teaching in this. So notice what's showing up for you, especially in regard to connections and the conflicts that are showing up. Is this a lesson? Is this a repeating pattern? How can I handle this differently than I've handled it in the past? So it doesn't have to be so stressful. It can be, if you can take a step back and just see it as a lesson and see it as something that you need to handle maybe differently than you have in the past, especially if it's a pattern, you can change and release the karma around that pretty quickly, actually. So that's a really powerful strategy. The Hierophant. So we may feel this need. Definitely, this is, to me, an important time to have an open heart, but to also have an open channel, an open connection to source, to be spiritually connected, to be walking our lives connected to source. Okay, so really thinking about, how have I been doing in regard to my spiritual well-being? And do I need more balance there? Do I need to kind of put a little bit more focus and attention on that? We can get really caught up in the day-to-day and maybe the more physical things or the more emotional things, but how are you doing on a spiritual level, and how can you be more spiritual if you don't have a very spiritual practice in some way? This is also about structure. And like I was saying, I do feel like for some of us, there's this want or this need or this draw to come back into routine, to create a structure, but a structure for ourselves right now that is allowing and supporting us on being more in balance and coming back into balance after maybe a period of time where we have felt out of balance. So incorporating those good habits. And a lot of times when we are coming back into balance, I feel like we're forcing ourselves to do some of those things that we know are best for us, but our ego sometimes doesn't want to do. Like when I go to work out, sometimes I don't feel like working out, but I never regret working out, right, after the fact. So it's like that kind of stuff where it's best for you, it's good for you. And if you can truly honor yourself and do those things that that you need to be doing, you're not going to regret it. It's going to work out really well. And if you can work those into some kind of a structured routine or as part of your day more often, that's helpful. I'm a Taurus, and so my earth sign energy is showing up as I'm talking about structure and routines. But I do feel that it's very helpful for people to incorporate that and to use that as a tool. But it's all about like, how can you, with your energy, incorporate that into your life more often so that things feel more balanced. And the last card that we have here is the 3 of Wands. So I feel like, this is, 3 of Wands is a little bit of a waiting energy, right? Like I'm waiting for my ships to come in. I'm waiting on something for a long time. But I feel like this is that energy of like, you're starting to see signs that your ships are coming in. You're starting to see signs that some things are manifesting. I do feel like October is going to be really big in terms of some positive, powerful shifts for us. And so we might just be feeling things starting to come into our energy field, and we're not quite sure what they are, or we feel it and we sense it, but we don't have that concrete evidence that it has arrived. Let yourself feel that, focus on that, and just like think about that continuing to come further into your energy field. You can call that more into your energy field, but also pay attention to signs and synchronicities that are saying, yeah, it's coming. It's on its way. Your ships are coming in. And so start to pay attention to that, because I do feel like a lot of amazing things are coming in for us. So those are your messages for this week. Thank you guys so much. If these messages resonate with you, like this video, share this video, however you feel called. I always appreciate it. It's a really great way to support the videos and the work that I'm doing. If you want to learn more about my membership, you can check that out at claritybychristy.com. If you want to learn more about my services or about me, you can check me out at discoveryourawakening.com. All right, guys, take care, and I will see you soon with another video.